As the mighty currents of the Pacific Ocean slosh and spiral towards the west coast of Canada, they first send waves weaving around the thousands of islands of British Columbia before finally crashing onto her treed and temperate mainland coastline. The great storms and earthquakes hit the west-facing island towns first, and few harder than the breathtaking surf city of Tofino. This isolated oceanic climate locale has the most moderate winters in Canada, averaging 5 degrees Celsius throughout. Summers are comfortable and relatively dry, but my personal favorite month to ride the cold water waves is September, when the tourist season has dropped with the temperature but before the very heavy autumn rains set in. If you're not a surfer, then come for the winter rains and enjoy some of the world's best storm watching. There is precipitation the majority of days per month, October through April, peaking at 23 days in November and January. Port Hardy on the north tip of the island is 1 degree cooler than Tofino each month of the year. Both Tofino and Port Hardy are rainy most days of each month outside of summer, but Tofino's Pacific-facing rain showers are significantly heavier, and overall Tofino has well over 3,000 millimeters of rain per year. On the south end of Vancouver Island is British Columbia's capital city of Victoria. Winters here are almost as pleasant as Tofino's, while the springs and summers are warmer. Like the rest of the island's east coast, Victoria is protected from the heavy deluges of the west coast by the Vancouver Island mountain ranges. These are clearly visible on this topographical map running through the center of the island. Overall, Victoria has less than 1/3 of the rain of Tofino, and July is so dry in Victoria that it brings the city into the Mediterranean warm summer climate zone. Very rare for Canada. Up the east coast, the city of Nanaimo shares the Mediterranean warm summer climate zone with Victoria, with slightly cooler winters and marginally warmer summers. The Mediterranean warm summer climate town of Comox is almost identical to Nanaimo in climate. And Powell River, which is just across the strait, is 1 degree warmer than Nanaimo most of the year, and this oceanic climate town is nestled into a rainforest. The many Gulf islands that dot the coast share the Mediterranean warm summer climate with Victoria and Nanaimo, the finest climate in the entirety of Canada, and the best place in the country for island hopping. The deeper you go into the Gulf Islands, the stranger the people, and legend has it that there are draft dodgers living on Main Island who have been hiding in the old-growth forest since 1969. And slightly to the north, rains start to pick up. And in the city of Campbell River, the self-proclaimed salmon capital of the world, we return to the oceanic climate zone. Winter temperature averages are slightly lower than the other Vancouver Island regions we've seen so far, and it's the first city we've seen so far with average lows below 0 degrees. So winter can be slightly brisk and snowy compared to some of Vancouver Island, but it's still paradise compared to 99.9999% of Canada. Due east, across the Georgia Strait, is the resort town of Whistler, made famous by the 2010 Vancouver Olympic Winter Games. It snows in January and February, about half of each month, which means plenty of fresh powder on which you can conquer a mountainside. but it's the combination of fine snow with oceanic climate conditions that make Whistler a worldwide attraction. There are not many places where you can ski or snowboard in a t-shirt on some days, and it's no wonder that the rich and famous bid for chalets in this Olympic city. An hour to the south of Whistler is Canada's third largest city, Vancouver. The city is the mildest on the Canadian mainland, moderated by the ocean and sheltered by the North Shore Mountains, putting it at the warmer and drier end of the oceanic climate zone. But have no doubt this city knows how to rain and occasionally snow, with precipitation most days each month from November to March. These winter rains soon give way to spring cherry blossoms and the lush conditions that help this lotus land capture the imagination of young Canadian travelers. Vancouver enjoys warm and dry midsummers that make conditions ideal for palm tree lined beaches from Kitsilano to Wreck and the hiking and biking trails that meander the lower mainland. The entire west coast of British Columbia is kept mild and rainy by the effects of the Pacific Ocean, and the port city of Prince Rupert, Canada's third largest port after Vancouver and Montreal, is very mild for its high latitude. All this mildness and rain gives this city of rainbows the dubious twin distinctions of Canada's least sunny and Canada's most wet city, with only about 100 sunny days per year. It rains the majority of days every month of the year, with October through January averaging over 20 days of rain per month. The Haida Gwaii, just across the Hecate Strait, has similarly mild temperature conditions to Prince Rupert. Most of Haida Gwaii's tiny population lives in towns on the eastern side of the islands, which have less rainfall than the western side of the islands, and considerably less than Prince Rupert. In Kitimat, just east from Prince Rupert, the temperature moderation begins to dissipate as we head inland and away from the warming effects of the ocean. This natural gas and aluminum hub is only about 100 kilometers inland from Prince Rupert, but is 3 or 4 degrees colder each winter month. This brings it below freezing on average in December and January, but still within the oceanic climate zone, and quite mild for Canada. It is 3 or 4 degrees hotter than Prince Rupert in each summer month. Most of the coastal mildness is gone by the time we cross the coastal mountain range into the interior plateau. And we arrive at the city of Prince George, which has a warm summer continental climate right on the cusp of a subarctic continental climate. But, like most of British Columbia west of the Rockies, Pacific air masses still have important effects and compete with Arctic air masses for domination. This city is warmer in winter than those east of the Rockies at similar latitudes, such as Edmonton, Alberta, and much warmer than those east of the Rockies in northern British Columbia, such as Fort St. John. Moving to the south on the interior plateau, we arrive in the city of Kamloops. Its position in the rain shadow of the coastal mountains makes this city one of the driest in British Columbia, and Kamloops has a cold, semi-arid climate that includes nippy and dry winters and hot, mostly dry summers. Moving into the picturesque wine country of the Okanagan Valley, we come to Kelowna, known as the Four Seasons Playground on account of its distinct seasonal changes, unusual for an oceanic climate city. Indeed, a slightly colder winter would give Kelowna a warm summer continental climate, and a slightly hotter July would make this city subtropical. But Kelowna's small amounts of rain spread over 8 to 12 days per month in the spring, summer, and fall, combined with fairly moderate average temperatures, does keep Kelowna oceanic, with perfect conditions for the area to produce some of the finest pears, cherries, and plums in Canada. But Kelowna wouldn't dare to try to challenge the peach city of Penticton for the crown of best peaches in the land. This oceanic climate city has a day or two less of rain each month compared to Kelowna, and as a result just avoids sharing the cold, semi-arid climate with Kamloops. To illustrate the striking regional differences in British Columbia, see Penticton here, and then look just 140 kilometers to the east to the city of Castlegar in the Kootenay region, which has almost double the precipitation, despite very similar temperatures to Penticton. Driving northeast into the Rocky Mountains, we cruise by Rogers Pass at an elevation of over 4,300 feet, and then begin the great descent into the ski town of Golden at the eastern reaches of British Columbia on the border with Alberta. The Rocky Mountains has a variety of chilly climates, and Golden has one of the more moderate, with a warm summer continental climate. There is fairly consistent precipitation throughout the year to ensure fresh powder for your backcountry free riding. Because here in beautiful British Columbia, if you're not skiing, surfing, hiking, or imbibing, sailing, boating, or savoring storms, you'd better be watching Climate Time and joining the world tour